Hello, everybody out there, and welcome back to another Dark Avenger comic book review. Holy crap, Mike and I are 90%. We're not sick anymore, though. Yay,
Yee.
hooray. So we're very happy about that. Man, it was such a horrible weekend and such a horrible
Ugh.
beginning of the week. I was sick, Tommy was sick, Mike was sick. Cindy got sick halfway through us all being sick, and now she's kind of on her cold is on the way out. We've gotten out of it. Tommy's gotten out of it, thank you, Lord. But we're better. And this was a pretty hefty week for books. So, yeah, reading was off until we started feeling better. So I apologize if we're a bit fast through these books.
We
which
will
were
try to remember.
right, which were released on, before we continue.
April 6, 2016, the first week of April.
Ironically. And we're going to try our best, guys. I apologize. I actually went over all my books again just
Same
to make
here.
triple sure. You know, I have everything down. But if I miss a couple of points, I apologize. It'll be a quick review because this is late. And we want to get started on this week's books, actually.
So, let's start digitally with Angel and Faith, Season 10, issue number 25.
The season finale. Oh, man. It was Arceus versus Angel. And Arceus' family, you have to understand, is manufactured, whereas Angel and Faith throughout this entire series, all 25 issues, plus the previous season, they've made friends in Magic Town. They've grown relationships with people, and their family or their group of friends, which are like family, they didn't forcibly manufacture their family. Their family was a legit family. These are friends that are willing to stand up and defend Angel and Faith and defend their town because Angel and Faith did the exact same thing for them. And the Magic sees all this, and Arceus is failing epically. Drusilla ends up running away at some point, and then finally, Arceus attacks. Oh God, I can't remember her name at the moment, but the girl who's been talking to the Magic. And finally, Magic learned through Angel and Faith what family truly is, and in a swift moment, put an end to Arceus. Didn't kill him, but basically trapped him away inside of the gift that Arceus gave the Magic. And the Magic went into a place where it could take everything that it's learned and just meditate on it for a couple of years. And while everybody's celebrating at the end, everybody's happy. You know, there was an unfortunate death to a character, not a main character, but a character that you guys will know if you've read the series, if you've been reading the series. It ends with everybody just, having a barbecue on the roof, and, Faith is just enjoying the fact that, they got a victory. Angel is Angel. He's always thinking about, well, what do we do next? What's coming next? What do we have to work? Do we have to worry about this now, later? He's always got work on the mind, and it just ends with everybody being happy and Faith just being, where she feels she belongs. And that's the finale. Will there be a season 11? Oh, please, God, let there be a season 11. I'll be so sad if Buffy comes back and there's no Angel and Faith to go with it. They complement each other so well, and I love Angel. I really will feel like there's something missing if we don't get Angel and Faith with Buffy season 11. I'll really feel like we missed out on something. Hopefully we'll get it back. This is an excellent series. Artwork was great. Story was excellent. I mean, if you want a continuation of Angel, this was the book.
Grizzly Shark, issue number 1.
This was a hilariously yet weird book. It's not a book I can say you gotta go out and buy it. It's by Ryan Otley, by the way. Just if you look at the cover, it actually says
it's
Ryan
right
Otley. It's interesting because there was a book 2 years ago that was a composite of Grizzly Shark and sea bears, and that's where the origin of Grizzly Shark comes from. Basically, it's the weirdest story you'll ever read. In this forest, there's a great white shark, and every time somebody bleeds, it attacks like a grizzly bear, except it's a great white shark. And there's some moments in the book where you'll be like, what? And then there are some funny moments in the book. It's random, and it's apparently still going to be going. It's not a one issue, one and done. There's another issue coming next. And this kid gets bitten in half, and for some reason he survives, and they're making a joke about his stomach being over there, and I'm like, what am I reading? But I kept reading. I mean, I can't say don't buy it, but I can't tell you guys you have to go buy it either. If you have the $2.99, which I believe is how much the book is, I would definitely say check it out. Is it?
I think it's $3.50.
$3.50?
I think.
Whatever the price is, if you have the money, I'd say give it a try. If you have a local comic shop, go in there and check it out for yourselves. If you enjoyed the book, I enjoyed it. I really did, and I'll be back for issue 2 if that puts any sway into whether you want to get it or not. I'll be back for the next issue. I enjoyed it. It was interesting. It was something out there. If you like fanboys versus zombies, you'll enjoy this as well.
Archie #7.
I like this because in this issue, Archie's getting screwed over by, I forgot the kid's name, but he's basically Veronica's father's right-hand man. He's always around and he's always, with the father, giving him recommendations, giving him whatever. And it's all because he's the one that reported that Archie was the one that destroyed their house. And Archie gets a job at a newspaper to try to get some dirt on him. And the way he finds out where the guy got the information on Archie was through I forgot his name too. The malt shop guy who basically hears everything, but he keeps his mouth shut. He doesn't ever, tell any secrets, any of the things that he's heard. And Archie fails miserably, and things are just getting worse and worse. Betty and this other guy are walking down the street hand in hand, and he's like, Betty? So we lost Betty. Him and Veronica are having problems because of Veronica's dad, and this other guy is screwing him even more. And the malt shop guy, he's back in the malt shop, and he just sees Archie dying. And then the kid comes in with his father, and they're bragging about how they're going to be the big shots that own the town. And I love how the shop guy goes, come here a minute. If you don't break it off with Veronica's dad, I'm going to tell them, and then whisper, 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 whisper. And basically he breaks it off with Veronica's dad because apparently the malt shop guy threatens to start slipping up on a secret that's very, very important to not get out. And I love how at the end of the book Archie's like, hey, you could always at Archie Comics me and hashtag what the big secret is. And I'm like, I like Archie. It's fun. It's a fun read. I'm enjoying it.
Predator, Life and Death, #2.
I don't know what to feel with this book. It's like, I feel like with the last book, it was aliens, it was predators, it was UNSC, it was a bunch of things rolled into one. This book so far, first of all, it was multiple miniseries that connected in a timeline. This series is literally one book a month. Last month we got part 1, this month we're getting issue 2. And this team is still on, I don't know what, LV something, whichever planet it is. And Seekson was there, and they were trying to get to steal the alien tech. It was a engineer ship that they found, so we know that the alien eggs are on the engineer ship. But all of the Seekson crew went missing, and we believe that it's the Predators that killed them. And I honestly believe that's the hypothesis I'm coming to anyway, the conclusion I'm coming to. And this one Seekson employee is explaining that there is these things out there. Everybody died one by one. There was these traveling, this captain and his lieutenant.
As the truck goes by.
And in the end, there's contact with the Predators. And one of the soldiers gets that one Predator down, and then a million other appear behind him. And it's literally to be continued right there. And it's crazy. I mean, it's a great Predator book, but I don't feel like yet. I'll probably be wrong as the series continues, but right now I don't feel like it's a continuation of the events in Life and Rock and Fire and Stone. I really just feel like it's another Predator book right now. I mean, if they're going to do what they did with Fire and Stone, they need to have the mix that they had in the other book, which was the aliens, the Predators, and the humans. And I'm just not feeling it with this second issue because it's only one series out right now. And there's a bunch of, last time it was 4 miniseries going on at the same time with a one-shot beginning and ending the whole 17 or 16-issue run. 4, 8, 12, 16. Yeah, 16-issue run. So, I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But I'm enjoying it. I'm liking the story, but I just don't feel like it's a sequel to Fire and Stone yet. Maybe we'll feel it later.
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers #2.
This was an excellent book. I loved it. I loved how Billy and Trini how their relationship is getting examined. I mentioned this in my review on Comic Frontline. I like it because this book is going to give us, I feel, what we wanted from the TV series but didn't get, especially because 3 of the main Power Rangers ended up leaving. The original 5 ended up leaving due to wanting money. That doesn't happen in comic books. So I feel like I'd love to see Boom Studios examine Trini and Billy's relationship. We find out that the Dragon Zord, or all the Zords, are emotionally connected to the Rangers. And if the Rangers aren't all there... By the way, I just noticed my mic is a little low. And I also forgot that I didn't set it to all, so I hope that everything was getting picked up. I apologize if that's the case. But all the Rangers are emotionally connected to their Zords, and if they're not emotionally 100%, there's a problem. And so something was wrong with Tommy, not with the Zord. And Tommy ends up getting into a fight with Scorpina, who wants the Dragon coin back. Rita wants her coin back. And we also find that we get a little bit more of a little bit more information about the Ruby Crystal. The more Tommy fights, the more power the crystal gets for some reason. And Jason and Kimberly end up showing up at some point. We get to see Jason and Kimberly at the karate school. Jason's a head sensei. And Zordon tells them about Tommy. They go help Tommy. And then the voice is starting Tommy's head again, saying, "You're weak. You needed to be saved." And he starts lashing out at the other Rangers. And they're like, "Yo, we were just here to help." And he's like, "I never asked for help, yada, yada." And then it all comes to a head at the end of the book where Tommy actually, under the pressure of it all, he faints. And I think it's... he never chose to be a Ranger. He was forced to be, and then he kind of felt the obligation to continue being a Ranger after being saved by the original 5 Power Rangers. So he still hasn't figured out his role as a Ranger yet, and if how being a Power Ranger really means to him. He's got Rita's voice in his head. He's got Rita also attacking him to try to get his coin back, threatening his family and everything. So he's got a lot going on. So I like how this story is really examining how Tommy came into being the Green Ranger that we all know he will become later on. And then the book will examine it even further, because this book is not, forced to go the guidelines of Sentai, so we can get a lot more stories out of this book.
Vampirella number 2.
Loved it. This was a great issue. Vampirella is out in the open. She goes and does interviews. She, somebody asked her why she wears the dress she does, which I'm sure a lot of people back then, back when Vampirella first came out, were wondering about that cheesecake factory. She's like, why not? And we find out that somebody's trying to target Vampirella, and the person that's been interviewing her, we get this big twist at the end where it turns out she might be working with them, and she's not exactly human. It was a really great book. I'm really enjoying Vampirella. It's a lot of fun to read.
Alright, now it's my turn.
Already? Wow, I thought I had more. Okay.
Yeah. Inferno Resurrection, issue number 2. The basics of this whole book is Mercy looking for a demon named Daum. I think it's spelled D-A-U-M, if I'm saying it right, or Rom, however it is. And it's a whole investigation of looking for him, because he wants to send him back to hell, because he has that thing, that star thing to send all demons back to hell. And there's like a whole big confrontation where she's confliction, where she's trying to find people. Then there's this person, Brad, that she talks to. Masumi makes a appearance in this comic book, the one with the sword. And she helps her out in this case later on in the issue. But as for Brad... there's a lot of things that, let's just say we found out where Rom really is, and has Brad kidnapped. To be continued. Really awesome book. Grimm Fairy Tale Steampunk, part 2 of 2, the final issue. Basically, just sum up the whole book. It was just Snow White who wanted to have Alice to herself, to basically keep her as her own, and Robin Hood and Cinderella trying to prevent that from happening. So there's just like a whole big fight scene. We find out that the preacher's in it as well, and he's a little bit behind this, and it was just like a whole bunch of mix-up stuff. But Cross, who is Hades, because there's a lot of people in it, Robin Hood, Red Hood, other characters. So I think you'll definitely enjoy this issue. A really great 2-part series. Escape from New York, issue number 16. Now, again, like the last issue, it's just the police who want to get Snake Plissken because he's wanted and they want to kill him for everything that he's done. You know, they've been to his house and everything. There was like, I felt like I was reading the same issue like last time, where the police were there, and all in all, that was really the whole basis of the book. Just trying to get him, which is really the whole basis of that. An honorable mention, Goki Alliance issue number 1. This was just setting up characters and who they are. Like, there was Turek, Agent Claire.
Sounds like all the characters. I think we talked about this. It's all the characters that Valiant didn't get back. Turok, Solar, what's the other one?
Agent Claire.
I don't know about that.
Well, it was basically an origin of their character, and it's interesting, along with their objective of killing a god with a gun, sort of to say. And that's why. Part of my coughing, if you hear that from time to time, it's getting over the allergy still. So I do apologize for that.
You can get a drink if you want afterwards.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Lobster Johnson, the Forgotten Man. This is basically a one-shot comic book where there's like a big, huge case that's going on where Lobster Johnson's needed for help. And he's not wanted like he is in the recent volume. So he's just going around, you know, trying to not kill people, but trying to help them more than kill them. The artwork was a little bit sketchy with lots of dialogue that was in this comic book. That was really all. It was just like a whole mission book to find somebody that he was been looking for a certain number of years. Miss Fury issue number 1. This comic book was...
I heard positive things about it.
I did as well, actually. And Miss Fury is, what was her name?
She actually did appear in a few of the Dynamite books I was reading.
She did, but I can't remember her real name.
It's okay, keep going.
Well, she's on a case to find out what's going on in this city that she's in. You know, it's been like a whole strangeness that's going on. So, there's this one person who's trying to ruin her cover. And she was trying to end it, but I can't. These names just escaping me. I don't know why, but all in all, it's going to a new issue, though, which is going to be really interesting. Definitely check that out. It's really awesome. Ninjak issue number 14. What could I say? This is the whole kind of origin of Ninjak, but also people who are getting the amnesia, forgetting who he was. Like, Neville couldn't remember who he was. I think they're doing like a time travel thing now with Ninjak.
Okay.
So, he's going to Neville, like, saying, you know, do you remember me? Like, what's going on? And there's like these MI6 headquarters that come in. By the way, this is where the whole after effects of the Exo-Man Wars thing happened, with the whole robot stuff. And I think afterwards he was going to fight through it because he is Ninjak after all. So I think he's going to be going on to find out more information of how people can remember who he is. Or who could be behind people who are forgetting him. Because I think that there's someone behind it who's making them forget who he is. Insufferable On The Road issue number 1. Now I know that this came out weeks ago.
Yeah, next week issue 3 comes out, but Mike's going to be doing 2 and 3 next episode.
Well, I thought it was 2 then 3. Depending on how many comics.
Depending on how many comics you can push it, yeah.
This, I really am glad this issue came back, actually, because, wow, Galahad
and Nocturnus.
Thank you. They're on a case to find out...
I've already read a piece of the book.
Yeah, and I really needed a character help. So they're trying to look for this guy
Hopefully this is your last one so you can go get a drink.
No, it's the other one. The other ones will be short. And I'll be fine. Don't worry about it. So they're looking for this person named Randall. Like, they're looking around, and I love how Galahad is being like, the same person like he was, with the twittering and stuff like that, and they're just trying to look for him. Like they're asking one person, like it was just a talk about him, which he wasn't that much of a great person from what people said. Like one person said he was great, people said he wasn't. He was just for the girls and yada yada. Well, we found Randall dead in ice. Who did it? We'll find out next time in issue 2, I guess. And finally, Johnny Red, issue number 6, I believe, because there was no issue cover on the front page. And I really don't know what to think of Johnny Red. Like, it's a great book from Titan Comics, but it's more along the lines of war, about who they're going up against and the reasons why they're going up against them. It's just Johnny Red trying to make a point that he wants to win. He has to win for his team and for everything that there is a cost to it. One person that came in this issue was very stingy at one of the characters who was sworn not to say one thing that he wasn't supposed to say to his team. It's going to bite him really hard in the end of this issue and further. So I'm going to be reading this. So I'm going to show this cover and I'm going to get a drink. So we're going to the big 2, starting with Black Panther issue number 1.
I wasn't sure with this book. I was sure I wasn't going to like it. I actually did like it a lot. Not a lot as in... Alright, let me explain it the exact same way I explained it on the live show. I didn't hate the issue. I went into this with the lowest of lowest expectations. And I liked it because T'Challa... This is taking place, if you want any backstory, because a lot of people have been asking me, you need to have read at least the first couple of arcs to New Avengers. And T'Challa is now the king again of Wakanda, except Wakanda doesn't want T'Challa anymore, and people are rebelling against him and against the royal family. And now T'Challa is trying to find this one woman who is kind of rallying the people against T'Challa and his family, and I don't know, I'm interested. There are a lot of points in this book that make me interested to stick around and see how this all rectifies, and then we'll go from there. But I wasn't expecting to like it. I guess this is one of the books where I can't say I loved it. I can't say I hated it. It's like it's on a issue-to-issue basis. Right now, it's teetering. If it goes south, I'll probably drop it. If it doesn't go south, I'll probably continue reading it. That's the best way to put it.
Black Widow, issue number 2.
This was a good book. This book explained the events of issue 1. Black Widow gets kidnapped. There's a funeral going on, and Black Cat's making sure nobody... Black Widow. I said cat. Yeah. I knew I was going to do that because I said don't say Black Cat, and I said Black Cat. Black Widow is keeping an eye on this S.H.I.E.L.D. funeral to make sure nothing bad happens. It turns out there's these people. She thinks they're there to assassinate Maria Hill. It turns out that they were there to capture Black Widow. They capture her, and this guy who apparently knows everything about everybody throws these files about Natalia in front of her face and says, if you don't do what I want, the world is going to know the truth about you. And we don't know what these files are, but there's a pile of files that involve, Black Widow. And she's like, how'd you get these? These were all destroyed. He's like, I have ways of making sure. And these copies, there will be more copies and more, and the world will know. So either you do what I say, or else the world is going to know who you are. And that then leads into issue 1 where Black Cat goes rogue. It explains basically issue 1.
As Black Widow.
Black Widow! I'm going to stop now. Next
Just
issue.
think of the Katy Perry song, Black Widow.
I don't even...
Man Logan, issue number 4.
This was the grand finale to the first story arc. Steve Rogers steps in, and Logan doesn't believe it's Captain America at first. He thinks the whole thing's a trick by Mysterio, and Cap actually knocks him out and brings him to a special place, which I won't mention where. Read this book. The artwork is the only thing that really draws me back on this book a little bit. It's very dark, and it's not against the artist. It's just for this book, I don't expect it. And anyway, Logan wakes up and he's like, "This has to be a trick." And when Cap says, "If you promise not to go absolutely apeshit crazy, we'll let let me explain. And he lets Logan go, and he goes a little crazy, and Cap knocks him down a peg, and he's like, this isn't an illusion, is it? He's like, no, and you need to see something. And then Steve brings him to our Marvel Universe's Wolverine encased in adamantium, and he tells Logan, this isn't your past. This isn't even your world. Because that's our Wolverine, and he's dead. So, where are you from? And he's like, I don't know. Because the world he's in now, Bruce Banner's not the Hulk. Hawkeye, there are two Hawkeyes. Captain America, because the events of that are going on in Avengers right now didn't happen yet. Captain America's old. So this isn't his past anymore. He can finally be at peace. And he's like, and he basically just walks away, and Cap's like, what do you want us to do? Let us help you. He's like, no. Wolverine's dead. Let the world continue to think that. And basically he went, for the next 8 months, and he was like a ghost. And it then leads into Extraordinary X-Men issue 1, where he actually gets found by the X-Men. So the next issue, basically, I guess, will take place in between Extraordinary X-Men story arcs. We'll have to wait and find out. But I like this issue, but now I'm like what Mike Spider-Slayer said, and it got me nervous thinking about it now. We got all of the backstory, so now where does Logan go from here? He's with the X-Men already. So now what? And it's like, oh boy, I didn't think of that, and now I'm kind of nervous for where this series is going to go from here.
Okay. Hope I'm saying this right. Poe Dameron?
Poe Dameron. It's a miniseries out of Star Wars. Poe Dameron. This takes place, obviously, after The Force Awakens, I'm guessing, because he is put on a mission by General Organa, formerly known as Princess Leia. And his mission is to find her brother and to bring him back to... Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. Bring him back to the Rebel Alliance, because she believes that the Empire is going to try to find him and coax him over to their side. How that happens, I don't know. So that's Poe Dameron's mission, and he goes off to this planet. It turns out this explorer that's close to Luke actually might have information on where Luke is, so she sends him to this planet to find the Explorer. The Explorer's already gone. Turns out the Empire is also following Black Squadron, because Poe Dameron enlists his friends from Black Squadron to basically, go off with him on this mission, because Princess Leia basically says form a team, and what better team than his own team. And, so they end up getting screwed over by possibly the Empire. We'll see what happens in the next issue. I liked it. It was an enjoyable read. It's something to add to Force Awakens.
The Infinity Entity, issue number 4.
I feel like I've been rooked in by this book now. Because you know what this entire miniseries leads to?
What?
Oh, you want to know? It leads into Thanos, End of Infinity, graphic novel, coming out next month. So basically this issue ends in a to be continued in a graphic novel. So if you're reading this to look for a conclusion, you're not going to get it. Because this was a glorified miniseries advertisement setting up for Thanos, End of Infinity.
Why'd I have a funny feeling that was going to happen?
I was so pissed off when I got to the end of this book. I wanted to share my thoughts. I thought the series was great up until that point. So now it kind of diminishes the miniseries a little bit for me, because I'm disappointed.
That is disappointing.
And that was my honorable mention, by the way.
Alright, so now it's my turn?
Okay.
Okay. So Deadpool issue number 9. For this comic book, it's really Deadpool versus Creed, known as Sabretooth. Now, from what I heard from Frontline Live, he is going after Sabretooth because of, he wants to find out about, he thinks that he killed his father. But what he doesn't know is that he did it himself, or really his parents, so to say. So, there's like a whole thing that happens in between where Deadpool's being Deadpool, and then there's this other part where, he talks with Magneto, Sabretooth, and saying, I want to help him, but just until he finds out, but he really, wants to destroy him. So, it was something like that. You have to read the comic book to find out, but I think this was happening during the Uncanny X-Men series, because that's why I feel it was. So, I believe that's where it was striving to, because he did say he's going to face him in round 2, for that matter. My best book of the week was Swamp Thing issue number 4. The Hand of Fatima has changed Alec Holland human, but his friend Matt into Swamp Thing, which was the switch. And there's no going back now. Once it was made, from what Satana said, that's it. You cannot go back on it. So it's just Alec Holland teaching Matt, about Swamp Thing, how to be the Swamp Thing, how to control the green. And let's just say that it went to Matt's head a little bit too much when he goes crazy a little bit, and then he basically takes too much control to be a villain. But really awesome book. I really enjoyed it. SpiderWoman Alpha issue number 1. Now for this book, it involves
Women.
Oh, I'm sorry, Women Alpha, which involves Spider-Gwen, Spider-Woman, and Silk. Spider-Gwen has a portal dimensional watch, where she can go to different Earths in the Marvel Universe. So she meets up with Silk and Spider-Woman, who has the baby Spider-Woman. And they wanted to, to have a girls' night out, where they all go into different Earths to see what they were like. A big giant robot comes in where they face off against them. And there's like a certain agent who takes and gets rid of the watch to go back to one of the Earths to give it to Cindy Moon at the end of the issue. But now that Spider-Woman's in a different universe, it worries her because not only did she keep the baby watched by Roger, but she has to get back. She's a mother now, so that's something for her to go crazy on. The Amazing Spider-Man Silk issue number 6. Plain and simple.
Marvel Infinite. It's a digital
Marvel Infinite, yeah. To make this go by fast, it's just really the girl talking about time traveling.
That's it?
That's the whole basics of the book. Time traveling, how their parents are with Hydra, and about the Rex dinosaur, which is what she created. Well, she took it from Hydra, basically, and she used it and all that stuff. It's a fun read, especially with Uncle Ben in it. I mean, yeah, he's alive, but I really enjoyed it. My uninteresting book of the week was Uncanny X-Men issue number 6. This is the first part of the Apocalypse War. Let me zoom out because I'm going to come into frame now. So yeah, this book, I'm going to give it like a couple sentences. It really doesn't focus on the Apocalypse War, just the part about how it focuses on Archangel. Archangel. I can never get that right. Archangel. And it's just a whole big thing just focused on his character and then the whole other part of it. And now, get this. There are 2 stories now added to this book. It's not only a 1-story book anymore. The second one was about Magneto and stuff like that. Uninteresting. I really was uninterested. If it keeps going like this, I'm going to drop it. Plain simple. Let's go physical. The Walking Dead issue number 153.
Let's get physical. Physical. Yeah.
Yeah. So, in this issue, it's just Negan has been free and is now with Brendan. I'm just going to show some artwork. See, right here. Negan's back. And the whole part of the book was Rick trying to find out where he is, and they're doing a search party about that to find Negan. Because Negan wants now to go see the Whisperer, just to get more information about their group, because Brendan knows about, because Brendan wants to kill Rick because of what he did to his father. At the end of the issue, well, he kills Brendan Negan. And Negan, I'm telling you, I knew he wasn't going to change. I don't know what his plan is, like to get the Whisperers to go after Rick's group, or I don't know, but Rick better be on his toes for this one. But yeah. Lots of big things coming for Walking Dead, and here you go.
Grimm Fairy Tales 121. It's been confirmed. Pat Chan's run on Grimm Fairy Tales will be ending at 125, so 4 more issues to go. We've got Sky and Lance fighting Bloody Bones. Ali goes on trial, whether he'll be expelled from the school or not, after, basically working against Sela and Shang, and also all the other things he's done. We get to see the Realm Knights a bit chasing after Bloody Bones as well. Huge spoiler here, Lance actually survives. Apparently Lance is unkillable unless, I guess, you burn him to death. The artwork in this book is okay. I like it, actually. I don't know why some people aren't really fans of it. It is different from the first, the first couple of arcs, but I'm enjoying it. And Lance and Sky end up almost defeating Bloody Bones, but then Sela and the Realm Knights show up, and her and Lance have to escape. They disappear. Ali gets expelled from school. He's got a bit of an edge, but then there's a message from Skylar and Lance, and it turns out they leave a message for the students saying it's time. So basically now the students, I think, are all going to sneak away from Arcane Acre, and they're all going to team up against Bloody Bones and end this ordeal once and for all. Very interesting, and I'm really excited to see where this story, leads to, and where the grand finale of Bloody Bones will be.
Alright, Green Arrow issue number 51. Now, before we get into the whole Green Arrow versus Deathstroke, as you can see from the cover, we get introduced to this guy named Ooga. And Ooga is in a group called the Whites.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Booga.
Yeah, Ooga Booga, yeah. So, his character is very creepy, and he has Dr. Miracle kidnapped, where he uses him for miracle stuff. I want to show, yeah, this is good. Deathstroke makes an appearance during the whole confrontation of Green Arrow and Ooga. And there's a whole fight scene between Green Arrow and Deathstroke, and that was an epic fight. Like, I haven't seen an epic fight since his encounter with Count Vertigo. But lo and behold, once again, they claim that Oliver Queen is dead because he stabbed him, because Deathstroke came for Dr. Miracle. How many times, DC, have you done Oliver Queen on his deathbed?
Well, there's only one more issue and then we get Rebirth.
I hope that it's not going to be Oliver Queen dead and coming back again, because once someone gets stabbed, especially here, I think that's long gone. Unless there's going to be a wolf serum that's going to make him come back to life again. I don't know. It was an alright issue for that. Now it's all you.
The Coming of the Supermen, issue number 3. It's an okay story.
Really?
It has no implication on the ongoing series. It has no connection anywhere. It's just literally a story that takes place in the multiverse. It's not the old DCU Superman. It's not the new DCU Superman. It's just a Superman story. It's okay. It's all over the place. And Neil Adams' artwork has been a lot better than it has been in this series. I will say that. A bit sketchy in my opinion. Invincible Iron Men issue 8. Artwork's still pretty dark. I'm really not digging Mike. I don't know why, but I'm not digging Deodato's artwork in this book. And I guess it's because we had Marquez on the book. And it turns out that Mary Jane ends up quitting. She's like, I don't want to. Yeah, she doesn't want to do it. She's like, I can't handle it. I don't want to. I'm just not. Spider-Man teams up with Iron Man to try to find Rhodey. They find Rhodey, and Rhodey's like, don't come in here. And then the woman ends up stealing Iron Man's armor as well. They're trying to get some dialogue from this person. The art, I will say, this splash page is really nice. I love Spider-Man. Bendis writes Spider-Man so good. I don't know why he doesn't do Amazing Spider-Man right now. But in the end, something happens with all the armors. And what this woman wants is basically information on America, like secret war projects or whatever. And she's not getting it, so the ending, it's an explosive ending. Let's leave it at that. It was a pretty cut and dry issue. straightforward. Iron Man and Spidey go looking for Rhodey. They find Rhodey. We find out that this person wants secrets from on America, on all the stuff in America, and when she doesn't get it, she basically makes everybody go kaboom. Spider-Man 2099 issue number 9. I like this. We find out more about the girl that Miguel is in love with, and we find out that her mother actually has powers, and we get to see a bit of a fight between Spidey and the mom. So we don't know if the mom's a mutant or if she's an Inhuman, but what she basically wants is she wants to keep her daughter safe, and she doesn't want anything to happen to her daughter or anybody who's connected to her daughter. And we also find out that the people who are enlisting, who enlisted the guy from 2099, well, the Fist, they also end up enlisting the girl from the previous. So basically, all the people that have been fighting against Miguel, this woman and the Fist are bringing them together. I don't know, maybe to turn on Spidey or what, but it's wow. And we finally, we get to see the mother's, the true intention. She's just trying to keep her daughter safe because she doesn't know what her daughter can do and if her daughter might hurt somebody. So it's really interesting, and you really understand the mother finally, and she's not the evil person that we've all, come to believe her to be. Green Lantern 51. Hal Jordan goes back into space. He realizes that he has to find the Green Lantern Corps, that he doesn't have control over this gauntlet. He has to fix things, and he can't do it on Earth. He has to go find the Lanterns, even the Guardians, and he leaves Earth. That's the long and short of it. The other half of the book is following the rest of the crew, which are the Prince and Trapper, and they're getting chased down by the people trying to find Hal Jordan because they're trying to collect a bounty on him, and they basically take over the ship until Hal Jordan comes back, and he's like, dude, don't ask for something you're not ready to handle because now your trouble is just getting started. To be continued. That's the long and short of this book as well. Lots of dialogue, lots of really great reading in this book. Artwork's really good as well. I'm just excited to see where this book will conclude. And obviously it'll probably lead into... Oops, I moved the camera just a little bit, I think. It'll probably lead into the finale of Edge of Oblivion. Superman 51. I'm glad they bring back the triangle numbers for this last story arc. But what it is Superman's dying. And if you're supposed to have emotionally a feeling connected to that, I look at this page where he says, I'm dying. I have no emotional attachment. It turns out, after what happened during the Justice League Darkseid War, after what happened in Justice League of America where he fought Rao, and after the recent events in, with him fighting Vandal Savage, his body can't take it anymore, and it's breaking down. He's basically falling apart, and he doesn't know what to do next. So he actually goes to Lois. I mean, you get to see a montage of him saving a bunch of people, doing what he does best with the time that he has left. He goes to Lana. There's some real deep moments with Lana, and she's not happy with him dying. It turns out something else is going on, by the way, behind the scenes. We don't know what yet, though. And then in the end, he goes to Lois and he's like, I want to... Or actually, first we get to see this, which I believe...
Oh, wow.
And it says, I'm Superman. I'm wondering, because I'm looking at this picture, and the more I look at it, it looks a lot like either the Eradicator or Superboy. I'm wondering if it's Superboy. Because if you guys remember in the 90s, Superboy claimed to be Superman until Superman came back and then he became Superboy. But the end is with Lois and Clark, and he's like, I want to tell you my story before I go. I want to tell you the story of Clark Kent and Superman. And obviously he's going to be putting together a team for when he dies or when he's gone. And I believe this is going to lead into Superwoman, where Lois Lane from the New 52 will end up getting his powers somehow. Maybe even Superman will survive. I don't know, but... One thing that DC promised, and we aren't getting, is old DCU and new DCU Superman meeting. And hopefully we'll get that at some point, but we're not getting that right now, which is annoying. Spider-Man issue 3, another cut and dry issue. Grandma's in town. Grandma's not happy with the grade. She takes Miles' phone away. She thinks he's on drugs. She keeps saying, get off those drugs. He's like, I'm not on drugs. The woman, you love to hate this grandmother. And Miles goes up to his room. The father says, you know what? I'm leaving until this woman leaves. This girl comes over to study with Miles, and the grandmother basically insults her, and she leaves. We get a guest appearance from Miss Marvel, and you just love to hate the grandmother, and I think the grandmother will end up leaving in the end. We get to see Hammerhead again. We get to see Black Cat again, and it looks like they're forming an alliance to take down the new Spider-Man. And then, of course, it's Brian Michael Bendis, so he wants to introduce a character back into the world, so why not introduce the character he created in X-Men? He brings back in Gold Balls from the X-Men. Yippee. Gold Balls. That was my reaction when I saw it was Gold Balls. I'm like, oh, yippee. Gold Balls. The rest of the issue was really good, though. I really enjoyed Spider-Man. It was, we love to hate the grandmother, and we got to see now where Miles' life goes from here. And finally this week, Justice League Darkseid War special one-shot. Basically, you get the backstory of Grail, her mother, her side-by-side with Wonder Woman. As Wonder Woman grows up her way, Grail is growing up her way. We get inside Power Ring, Voltoom's ring, and Jessica Cruz is in there, and all of the souls that the ring has possessed before her, they're there, and they're basically like, we all succumb to the ring, and we all, now we're all trapped inside the ring forever, and Jessica Cruz refuses, and she's actually saying, I'm not afraid, and I'm not submitting to the ring, so she's actually fighting back, and Grail does something with Steve Trevor, which, it looks pretty bad, and we also find out, another spoiler, which was actually mentioned on Frontline Live, that Steve Trevor was in fact not the first man to step on Themyscira. So who was the first man to step on Themyscira? And we find out also, the last page has Jessica Cruz running away from the other former Power Rings, and guess who's inside the ring with her? Vic. Apparently, as Cyborg was getting taken over by, what's that dude's name again? By Grid, he ended up hacking into Voltoom, into the Power Ring, and put himself, his consciousness, inside the Power Ring as well.
Huh.
So, Vic is alive still, which is awesome.
That is really awesome.
Was this a good one-shot? Yes. I just feel like at this point, it's taken over a year and now almost a half to conclude the Darkseid Wars. I just want this to end, Rebirth come, and, we get
Rebirth
back,
will all look
we get into some new stories from Justice League. That's what I'm hoping for. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But with that, that's it for this comic review, guys. So,
Yep. So I'll go behind the camera.
Thank you guys so much for sticking with us. Links in the description below. Check them out in your spare time. Feel free to comment below your thoughts on any of the comic books we reviewed here. Agree, disagree, like, dislike, whatever that may be. Dark Avenger Live will be, you're seeing this Friday morning, will be tonight at 9:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I set the show up at 9 o'clock, and then we go live at 9:05. So hopefully you guys will be here. Don't forget to check out ComicFrontline.com, your number one source for comic-related news, reviews, and a whole bunch more. 90% of the content that used to be on this channel, I moved over there just to give you guys a little bit of a reminder for those of you that haven't been around the past couple of weeks. Also, don't forget, Frontline Gaming Zone, Zone 4 Podcast, Last Ember Press. All sites that myself and Michael are either together or solo a part of. And yeah, so till next time, everybody, take care, keep reading, keep collecting, and we'll see you guys really soon in the next video.
Later, everyone.